Hi, my name is Willie Wong, and I'm the IBM Security and Business Continuity Marketing Manager. With me today is Omkar, who is our security subject matter expert, and Rodney, who is our business continuity subject matter expert. And today we're going to talk about managing risk from an SMB perspective. Today we're going to talk about the objectives of managing risk in SMB and why it's important, the IT security risk, and the business resiliency risk. So part one, SMB risk, why is it important? Before we can talk about that, we really need to step back and talk about the two key components of risk. Number one is data-driven risk. Number two is event-driven risk. Now, security focuses around a data-driven risk that is protecting the data assets from viruses, inappropriate use, where the data is flowing to, et cetera, et cetera. Now, business and continuity disaster recovery focuses around the event-driven risk. These are natural or man-made disasters resulting in system availability that supports the business operations. So it could be a security breach that affects the availability of systems. Floods, power outages are very common as well. So how is risk typically addressed today by SMB? Well, SMBs typically have both security and disaster recovery measures in place, but are generally lacking in terms of risk optimization with respects to technology, cohesiveness, risk interlocks, and the overall risk strategy. Why? Well, simply put, most SMBs operate on a tight budget and generally lack the expertise. A typical view of SMB is as long as they meet adequate or minimum levels of risk management, that is totally acceptable. For example, the measures they have in place keep the business running. That's all they really want. That's all they really care about. Or it just meets their bare minimum compliance requirements. So their question really is, why should I upgrade? I'm meeting everything that I need to. Well, the real question is the business perspective. Can SMB implement risk mitigation measures like large businesses? That's a really good question, because SMBs, like larger organizations, have business objectives, budgets, operational needs, etc. The list goes on. The reality is SMB actually has more to address than larger organizations due to the fact that they have to deal with the similar data and event-driven threats and yet have limited budgets to work with. So the answer is it depends. It depends on a number of factors, both around security and business continuity. And I'm going to let my colleagues talk about that in parts 2 and 3. We'd like to talk about the latest technology trends that SMB could leverage if issues around security and resiliency were addressed. For example, server virtualization and consolidation of physical servers is considered maxing out on your hardware. Many SMBs see the cost savings and will implement this without a thought of risk management strategies because they're thinking, I can save a lot of money. The issue that they're really going to deal with later on down the road is around security and resiliency, because as they change their internal infrastructure, they're going to open up to all kinds of threats and exposures. And then also, as they go into more virtualized environment, resiliency becomes key for the simple reason that their systems have to be up all the time. They've got less servers to rely on if something fails. I wanted to provide some SMB advice to mitigate risk. You want to review your risk management measures in place. This includes both security and resiliency. Are they effective? Do they support the future of your business? You might even want to get an external vendor to help if you're not sure. I mean, they have the expertise. Typically, you don't have that in-house. You only know what you know and you've been doing it for a while. You want to ensure your risk management strategy actually supports the business strategy, not just currently, but as you grow. Because as you start going down the technology changes that you will to make sure your business does grow, you're going to have exposures opening up. And those you definitely cannot afford to overlook. My name is Willie Wong, and I'm an IBM Marketing Manager for Security and Business Continuity. Thank you.